Yo, I move in tranquility, also virility, keep it 100, and I move with fertility, giving birth to all the truth in the seasons planet, trying to be one of the dopest kings that receive this planet, taking dominion, and I ain't got time for no minions. I just want to make this money, stack my bread up with millions, do this for my children, and do it all for my legacy. Let me see, wisdom, knowledge, long life, and longevity. I'm a king. I'm a king, I'm a king, I'm a king. Yo, salute, big old, super big, humongous salute to all the viewers and everybody that rock with the podcast, man. Y'all already know who it is, man. Black Superman coming back at y'all, and my man Tony, Miggity Magnum out here, you know what I'm saying? Throw the Miggity in there. Let them know what it is. Man, how you feeling today, Tony? You know, I always got to ask you, man.
I am feeling blessed. I'm feeling blessed. That's a good word.
Awesome, man. Same here, man. I definitely feel blessed too, man. You know, the holidays just went past, and you know, it was pretty decent for the most part, man. You know, I can't really complain for real. You know what I'm saying? I feel like what I received in the time frame was very beneficial to me and my family. So that's good, man. How about you?
Me, I was on that grind. You know, when you live the bachelor lifestyle, families apart, everybody grown, the magicalness may go away, but everything was still going according to plan. It was peaceful, so we ready to just keep it pushing.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Good to hear that, man. Hey, I hope y'all, the viewers that's watching too, I hope y'all had a wonderful Christmas as well, man. Hopefully it was blessed. Hopefully, you know, you was able to enjoy it and just experience it, man, by yourself, with your family. Don't really matter. But y'all see the title, man. We got to get back on this VKP wave, you know what I'm saying? And the title is Leg Development, man. You know, best exercises and best approaches. We're definitely going to get into this, man, because for me personally, you know, and Tony, he could definitely elaborate on his part. But for me, legs have always been a weak thing for me. Like, and mainly it was because of me. It was because I wasn't doing things to maximize my legs, to honestly grow them and really cause a very good overload. You know, for years in the beginning, I was not really doing legs. I go to the gym, I'd be fucking up the bench press, you know what I'm saying? I'd be doing everything else, curling like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? But when it came to the legs, I just do little shit. I wouldn't really do anything for real. So that's why this episode is very, very close to me and close to my mind and heart, because if you're struggling with your legs, I can relate to you. So that's one of the reasons why I really rock with it here, man. What about you, Tony, man? What's up with legs? How do you relate to it? What's your view and take on legs and your legs?
Shoot, I love me some leg day, man. I hear a lot of people tend to focus on leg day 1 day a week. I try to hit in 3, to be quite honest. I try to hit 3 leg days a week. I will admit, I am considerably weak in the deadlift, though. And that's just because I really don't train that maneuver too much. I could pop off a 500-pound rep every blue moon. It's like, you know what? Let me test it. But I do got to get serious more in that deadlift action. And I want to actually take legs more seriously. Actually, I want to see some legitimate growth and development beyond just a powerhouse squat.
Man, totally agree with you, man. Totally agree, man. Me too. Like that's pretty much where I stand too. I think for me, I'm more weaker on the squat. You know, I really need to up my max and just my overall strength with squat anyway. So for me, I'm pretty strong on the deadlift. But I can get stronger. We can all get stronger. That's the beauty of this type of approach anyway. That's what I love about bodybuilding or lifting or powerlifting or whatever you're doing in that arena. It's like we're always able to keep growing. Once we reach a milestone, we're at the bottom of another milestone. So that's the beauty of it. But I definitely can relate to you on that too. Having some weak areas and wanting to see growth. And another thing too, I could say before we get into specifics on this, like with the things I've been implementing right now, I'm focusing on speeding my metabolism up. And what I've been teaching a lot of people and what I've even done with clients, I did this with clients before I did it with me. It's funny, but it actually works very well. But, I've been focusing on eating, a little above maintenance and really, really focusing on strength. And all I can say is I'm noticing amazing results immediately.
Oh,
Um, like it's like shit. It's just like bow, like my legs. You know, I'm making the best progress I've ever made in my life. So I want to start the show off just by saying, hey, if y'all want to grow y'all legs, if y'all really want to see some growth and development in your legs, you have to understand that diet is very important. Just like if you're trying to see your abs, you know what I'm saying? Like it's whether you're trying to put on muscle or you're trying to lose weight, diet is still going to be paramount, and it's really going to dictate how your results are, how your results are going to look. So, shit, I've been doing this for about almost 2 weeks now.
mhm.
Metabolism is going crazy, um, and yeah, like my legs, man, they just. I can't wait to do this next physique update, but my legs are definitely getting some good growth. So that's the first tip, y'all. You need to start eating some more. You need to eat more. Like you don't have to pig out, but just make sure you're eating enough. Get right over maintenance. Try to get like right over your maintenance calories that you need to eat.
Yeah. Get these in. I'm sorry.
Tony, like, yeah, maintenance. All right. But so yeah. So we're gonna get the business, man. I'm real excited about this. But as y'all can see with the title, we're clearly gonna be focusing on specific exercises, like the best exercises that I think, and I truly believe Tony would agree to. But if he don't, he's free to express his views as well. But and also Tony will be able to throw in some other things if I miss some of it. But I just think that these things will really help you. And these movements are movements you got to be doing if you want to see those legs improve. Period. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So I want to get into the first actual exercise and movement that I think will really help with legs. And honestly, I think it's very overlooked. I really think this movement is very overlooked. But the Romanian deadlift, the Romanian deadlift. And the reason why I say the Romanian deadlift is going to be powerful for your legs is because it's really going to help with your hamstrings and your glutes. You understand? That whole part of the kinetic chain, that part right there, the hams, the glutes, that's very important, honestly, for your overall physique, but as well for your legs. Just like with our arms, the bigger our triceps are, the bigger our whole arm is going to look. So it's kind of similar with quads, obviously, and hamstrings. You want to kind of have that same mindset. So the Romanian deadlift. So if you don't know what a Romanian deadlift is, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up a video right now of somebody actually talking about the Romanian deadlift and also explaining, what it is. And this will give you a good idea of what we're talking about. I want to make sure I show y'all specific movements that we speak on so that you understand and you know. So let's get it. Oh, and shout out to Buff Dudes too. If y'all ever heard of them,
Romanian deadlift.
they got some good stuff. They got good information.
Romanian deadlifts, or RDLs, a great exercise to isolate the hamstrings. If you want to build those size and strengthen those hamstrings, then you're going to include the Romanian deadlifts leg program. Here's how: step to the bar so that way your ankle is just touching the barbell, and put your legs about shoulder width apart. You want to grab the bar with the overhand grip slightly outside the legs. Now what you do is bend down to pick the bar up. You put it in a deadlift position first to get it up to the top position, which is going to be your start. What you want to do is push your hips backwards with knees slightly bent, but in a stationary position. Now as you bend your hips backwards, you're going to get a nice full stretch of the hamstrings, gliding the bar right along the legs. And then once you reach your maximum stretch in the hamstrings, you're going to pull it up by pushing your hips forward, and at the top position, you're going to lock them out. Nice squeeze in the hamstrings and the glutes. As you lower the bar, what you want to do is keep your lower back straight and your chest up. And it's going to really help to keep your chest up by pinching your shoulders back as you lower the bar too. This way, you're going to get the maximum stretch in the hamstrings. And once you reach that point, you're going to slowly lift the bar back up to the top position by extending your hips. And that's how you build those hamstrings, buck dude style.
All right, y'all. So pretty much I like his tutorial a lot. I like the way that he expressed it and explained it. That looks like great form to me. The only thing that I would say about what he was doing is if you're gonna be doing a Romanian deadlift in front of a mirror, just make sure that you keep your head neutral. So like when you come down in that Romanian deadlift, keep your head neutral. So, wherever that means your head is going to be looking, more than likely, you're not going to be able to look up in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I say about when you're doing this form. Just make sure that you're keeping your head neutral when you go down in that Romanian deadlift and come back up. But for the most part, guys, I'm telling you, this is a very powerful leg movement because it's really going to help you target your hamstrings and your glute muscles. And another reason why I like this a lot too is because it's a compound movement. So you can really focus on progressive overload with this, and you can get, pretty strong at it, and also, put a lot of weight on the bar with this kind of movement as you get stronger and as you progress. But overall, I love this movement. I like it a lot. When I do the Romanian deadlift, to me, it's lit. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? It's also constant tension. When you're going down, you ain't dropping the bar like pulling from the floor. So, I mean, it puts that direct target and direct contraction on the hamstrings and the glutes, man. So I honestly like that movement, man. What you think about that movement, Tony? How you feel about the Romanian deadlift?
I actually like it because, yes, like he said, it targets the hamstrings and it gets the glute action in there. Glutes, just to focus on those real quick, very underrated because they're like the shoulders of the lower body. And you generate a lot of power from your glutes, especially when it comes to just burst movement or just movement in general. Yeah, so I know men, we typically don't want to do that because of cosmetic factor, but don't be ashamed to get the glutes weight in there. So that's a good exercise. Me personally, I like to do the Romanian deadlift after the conventional deadlift. I do the powerhouse, strength building moment with the over under grip, and then when I finish that up, then I do the more repage with the over grip and doing the straight leg one. And to add just a little bit more spice to it, try to do it at a deficit. I try to use one of those stepper things, so I get on that to reach all the way down, so that way I can get a lower stretch, get deeper in there to pull more up.
And I love the fact that you said also add a deficit to it, because when we think about our muscles, we have to understand that our muscles stretch. They're meant to stretch. And if we can in any way, shape, or form increase the range of motion in these movements, it's going to further develop the muscle. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. That's a dope approach that you have, Tony. That's dope as hell. Y'all take notes, man. Take notes because that's a very dope approach. I think that's a dope, I guess, subsequential order to knock out those different deadlifts in one sitting. And I also agree with it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing multiple types of deadlifts in one workout. So yeah, that's dope as hell, man. Especially that deficit. You can't go wrong with a deficit and honestly any of the other deadlifts, but definitely Romanian, because you don't have to necessarily stop, in between each rep. So it flows better, in my personal opinion. But yeah, also, okay, so we're talking about how the Romanian deadlift is good, but let's talk about why we might not like it or whatever con we may think there is to a Romanian deadlift. For me personally, I think that one thing that I don't like about the Romanian deadlift is the constant tension that could be on your lower back. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're coming down, if you have good form and if your form is lit when you're doing this Romanian deadlift, it shouldn't be too much pressure on the lower back. But depending on how low you go, especially if you're going to add a deficit to the Romanian deadlift, like what Tony's saying, the more deeper you get into that stretch, it could become slightly antagonistic to your lower back. Just like any hip hinge movement, you know what I'm saying? If we're hinging our hips and we have to pull up, depending on how we're doing it, it could somewhat cause a little kind of like, antagonism to the lower back a little bit. But as long as you perform your form correctly, it's fine. But that's the only thing I'm not really a big fan of those about. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not necessarily stopping in between. And if you're going at a pretty deep, or if you're going low with the bar when you go at the bottom of it, you know what I'm saying? It could cause, it's like a constant tension to your lower back. So that's one thing. That's the only thing that I'd say I'm kind of like, I'm not a super huge fan of it in that sense. But other than that, it's amazing for your hamstrings and your glutes. What about you, Tony? You feeling any way about it in any way, shape, or form? Like negative or
As I said, deadlift is my weakest exercise, and it's somewhat for that concern, because it is kind of an impractical maneuver. When if you're in your everyday life, you would not just straight up lift something heavy with that strict form, try to lift with your lower back. You wouldn't do that. So that's why I kind of tend to shy away from deadlifting in general. I'm like so impractical, and that's why I don't like it. But I think it's a lot of attention is drawn to it because it does have a lot of masculine flair because you're lifting this big ass thing off the ground. Cool. But yeah, that risk factor right there with the lower back, it is a serious thing to consider. So all them youngins out there, you want to get them gains real quick. And you got them that rookie acceleration, but be careful, watch your form, and just do it like you would do anything else. You gotta steady progress, same thing. And yes, if you crack that lower back, you're pretty much done for a good little while.
definitely a minimum 6 months minimum. You're gonna be out for the count. Like and you may not be out, but you're gonna be dealing with pain and dealing with that injury for at least 6 months. Especially if you plan on going back to the deadlift in any way, shape, or form. So hell yeah, totally agree with that. And yeah, like Tony is saying, y'all, listen, with all of these movements, especially the major movements, man, always take your time, man, and do not ego lift, y'all. Please. You're going to pay for that shit later. You know what I'm saying? Especially with these movements, especially with movements where you're doing any type of hip hinge movement or, you're bending down or you're, pulling from a lower angle or compromised position like that, man. Start off with a decent weight and work your way up. I highly recommend, if you really want to get strong at any of these movements, I highly recommend that you start with a rep range anywhere from 4 to 6 reps and stick with that rep range and work that weight up. Every week, add a little bit of weight. That's what I'm doing right now with all of my lifts now because I'm focusing on strength right now, but more so to speed my metabolism up. So I'm kind of like in a muscle building, metabolism speeding phase. And I'm getting strong as hell. Like I done already put 40 pounds on the bench press already, bro. I only been doing this for about a week and a half, hitting on almost 2 weeks, bro. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I should have did this shit 5 years ago. What the fuck was I thinking? But so it works, man. It's very powerful. But with that being said, I worked my way up. You know what I'm saying? So I started off with 315, then the next week I went to 325, you know what I'm saying? Then that same day I put 335 and and I was doing 5 reps. So I just was working. I'm not worried about ego. I'm not worried about if people think I'm weak. I ain't worried about none of that shit. I'm just focusing on being very strategic with heavy weight to get stronger effectively and to not fuck myself up in the progress. So I highly recommend that y'all keep this in mind with all of these movements. And, if you really want to see some change in size or development with your legs, I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. Getting stronger is probably going to be the best approach. Focus on strength. You know what I'm saying? Focus on getting stronger. That's your muscles they're going to have to adapt to that. So you should see some change as you get stronger. You get stronger, that's letting you know you're putting on some muscle. Well, I can get deeper into that, but I'm not. But it's in a nutshell, it's true. Like if you're focusing on muscle development, getting stronger is a clear indication that you're doing something in terms of hypertrophy. So, all right. So now we're gonna get into the next movement. The next movement and I'm sure y'all already know this, and it's very common, and people know it, and everybody talks about it. But the back barbell squat is very important for leg development. But here's the thing. You have to make sure that you're doing it right though. Because you can be doing the back barbell squat and you ain't giving no love to your quads, your hand, any of your leg. You know what I'm saying? You're just playing with the muscles and you're barely tickling them a little bit. And that's why they're not developing. And that's why they're not growing. And that's why you're not seeing any results in your legs. So it's form, technique, and performing these movements correctly. That's what's going to give you the best development in any major muscle group. So keep this in mind, guys. That's why earlier when we was just talking, I said we need to focus on not putting a whole bunch of weight on and getting good at performing the movement. The better you get at performing it, you're getting stronger while you're getting better at performing it. Guess what? It all works together. You're just going to improve. The fucking muscle has to adapt to that. So, all right. So we're gonna get to this next movement. It's the back barbell squat. And it's getting prepared right now, guys. But yeah. And a lot of I'll be at the gym and shit, and I see guys doing it. Some guys I'm very impressed. I'm like, man, they got great form. You know what I'm saying? I even went up to one dude. I was like, yo, that was some good ass form, bro. I guess you've been really practicing at the squat. And then sometimes you see some guys, man, they got no depth at all in their squat at all. Like their ass ain't even going to parallel. You know what I'm saying? They like they starting off at the beginning, and then they come back and they add it's way above 90 degrees. It's like at 125. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, enough of my little rant on that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the video up so we can check out some guys that I trust in terms of form and this movement. It's real good for your legs, y'all. Period. Wait, all right, y'all. I'm just pulling the video up. Stay acting stupid a little bit.
Just stay on my note.
All right.
The squat.
Here we go. The squiggity, the motherfucking squat.
The squat is an invaluable addition to your workout regimen and an exercise which no one should do without.
Remix. Hold
on. The squat is an invaluable addition to your workout regimen and an exercise which no one should do without. Working the glutes, hamstrings, quads, and lower back. This killer compound movement is essential for kissing those chicken legs goodbye.
Deuces.
Today, we'll be focusing on the rear-loaded squat. To begin, place your feet shoulder-width apart, resting the bar on your shoulders.
Real quick.
Keeping your toes.
Real quick, y'all. I love how he said place your feet shoulder-width apart. Now, first and foremost, you want to focus on a good form for you, wherever some people might feel more comfortable with their feet very wide. Some may feel very comfortable with neutral. But I like how he started off with having his feet shoulder width. Because the biggest thing I'm going to talk about even after this is wherever you place your feet, that's what's going to dictate what part of your legs is getting hit the most. So this is something I really want y'all to think about. All right.
At a comfortable outward position. With your chest up and pressing your hips back. Begin lowering your body as if you're going to sit in a small chair. Stop the movement when the hip joint is slightly lower than the knees. And while putting pressure through the heels, lead with your chest while pushing your hips forward, using the glutes to raise yourself into the top position.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you've just performed a rear-loaded squat.
Yeah.
Now, here's
a rear-loaded squat. So yeah, y'all. I mean, they go into depth about specifics on things that you shouldn't do. I might even play it, man. I mean, it's good just to get that formal information. But yeah, I totally agree with the form and what he was saying. Awesome form. The depth was 100% legit. I mean, it looked like he went the lowest you could possibly fucking go. I mean, he literally was like, sitting. So like, that's awesome. Now, guys, if you can't get that type of depth, don't worry about it, man. Work your way to that. Get good at performing these movements. So it's going to take time. Man, Tony sent me a video today, a powerful video, or I think it might have been yesterday. A reel of a guy just talking about, how, I can't remember how he worded it, but he pretty much was saying how things are better or things come faster when they're done slowly. I think that's what he said.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, that is such a powerful fucking statement because it's so true. I'm like, man, even the more and more I'm learning about the metabolism and what we should be doing to speeding that, it takes time to do this. But it's the most effective, though. It's way more effective and it'll be way better for you long term by doing this as opposed to just getting on a fucking crash diet and doing, millions of miles of cardio. So it's like, and losing that fucking 20, 30 pounds in 8 weeks. the same approaches with the squat or any movement. Take your time with it, get better at it, man, and you will see great results. But in a nutshell, like I said, I think he definitely did a great job in performing that and explaining it. Even with the feet, you know what I'm saying? When he brought the feet out, and as you can see, he kind of turned his toes out a bit. And the reason why that's very dope and effective for you is because the more we open our toes, the more our hips open up. And if our hips are too closed, that really will restrict us from being able to get very deep in the squat, you know. But it depends on the individual. It depends on, you know, your body, your skeletal muscular system and how your body is structured, all of that shit. Everybody's different. So the best thing to do is to find what works for you. But I think that this is probably the king workout, like for real, the king exercise out of all of them, in my personal opinion. I think the back barbell squat is by far the most important and best exercise that you could do, not just for your legs, but your entire body. Where do you stand with this, Tony? And what do you think about the squat concerning the legs and all that good stuff?
I do love the squat. I think the reason I like it though is because remember all the muscle groups that you're actually activating. It takes a lot of mental focus to not really focus on them, but it's like when you get used to it, you can feel that you can feel the muscle trying to work, and you have to focus so much on it. I think the squat is my most mentally ritualistic exercise. Another tip he threw in there was about lowering to sit down. So I was coaching I coached a young man about squatting. Even coached my brother, the same thing. When they got the squat on, they tried to lean forward with the knees. They try to bend at the knees in a jumping motion, and they end up complaining about, hey, what's wrong with my knees? I'm like, no, it's not the squat. They wanted to blame the squat itself. It's not the squat. It was how you were doing it. You have to basically, when the squat's on your back, disengage your hip a little bit, put that little arch in your back. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you to it up or all that bullshit, but it's like get it, engage it, and then sit down. Start by lowering your butt and allow the knees to bend.
Yes.
So that way you're reaching down with your ass, try to hit that ass to grass level, trying to reach down, and then when you feel that stretch in your glute hamstring connection, you know you hit death, and then it's like just grind up from there. And that right there is how you do. That's how you do the squat. When I coached him and my brother on that same notion, their squats went up dramatically because now it's like, oh, I'm squatting rather than just trying to jump with the weight on your back. Some dude even mentioned before how there's a difference between a high bar and a low bar squat on your back, and apparently the maneuvers on the high bar are more impressive than the low bar. I didn't know there was a difference. I was just like, I just put it on my back like it's supposed to be and just squat.
Yeah. So when he says high and low, does he mean where you're placing the bar at on your back or your traps? Like, is that what he means?
I think that yes, I think the high bar is more closer to the traditional position on your traps that you would normally expect. The low bar, I've seen it where they dig it deeper into their shoulders, so it's resting on a lower position. I think that's kind of a cheap method to basically make the weight. I don't know. It's like allow your body to have a better grip of the weight. I want to say that. So I don't know. It's weird to me to do it that way. I'm like, why? I mean, I definitely can't. My flexibility will not allow my arms to go that deep down just to put the bar there. Just you're trapped for no reason. There we go.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I never heard of it being phrased that way, but I've heard of the concept though. I even tried it recently. Like I tried to bring the bar down a little lower than my traps, and it wasn't bad. Obviously something probably that I would have to get used to, you know, that, and I'm sure that's with everybody. But you know, yeah, it wasn't terrible, but I think I know what you're talking about with that. But yeah, that I'm sure that's very effective. And the way that you said that you coached your brother and, you know, another guy, yeah, man, all of that is awesome and powerful info. One thing that I've noticed, you know, just being a personal trainer and also with myself, for me, I notice when my feet go too wide, I have more stress on my knees, right? So I was like, okay. And that's usually the polar opposite for most people. Most people say when they go wider, they actually can get deeper in the squat and it feels more comfortable to them. For me, it's actually different. But I found out and I realized why. It's not even because of the way my body structured. It was literally because my quads were underdeveloped. So my quads weren't necessarily supporting my knees the way that they're meant to, like the VMO muscles. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know what that is, Google it when you get a chance. But the VMO part muscles in your quads or your legs are very important for knee stability. So with that being said, this is what I did, and it helped me out so much, and I think it'll help you guys too if you struggle with the squat getting deeper or your quads aren't that big, right? I started to bring my feet a lot more closer, and I got good at doing the squat and getting strength with my feet a lot more closer. And with me doing that, I noticed traumatic growth in my quads. I noticed traumatic growth in strength. I did that for a solid I've been doing that for a solid 2.5, 3 months, man. I went back to doing my legs regular, and yo, I did it like butter, yo. Like it didn't even hurt. It didn't even bother me. So what I got from that is I'm like, oh, so that's how we can become like pretty much optimal with our entire leg and even the squat is by trying different placements of the feet. So sometimes train with your feet a bit closer. I mean, I've even gotten this fucking close. Like say my palms and shit is my heels, right? I've gotten this close before and got good at that and even increased depth in my squat and have my toes, kind of pointed out, obviously. But now I try to be anywhere about this, about this range.
Oh, can you hear me? Did he fail? Think he disconnected for a while. But to spin off what he's saying there, yeah, that closer position out there, I think that's called the plie squat, or like ballerina style. So if that's good for him, or you can get that flexibility to basically get in nice and close, that will definitely, you dropping low on that will definitely engage the glutes a lot more. He is still frozen. Okay, I'll use this chance to tell a quick story about me squatting. Squatting has saved my knees. Once upon a time, when I was in the Marine Corps, Marines, we're doing a lot of running exercises, correct? So all that running, when I got moved from my one platoon into another, they went crazy with balls to the wall running. When I was in that intermediate squad, it was just the guard force of the base. It was basically PT on my own. So I didn't run nearly as much. But when I jumped to this other platoon, they were boots and use runs, balls to the wall. And that basically put a hurting on my knees while I was still doing my squats. Being that young, naive mindset of thinking, oh, squats are bad for your knees. And I thought that was the problem. So I'm wearing knee braces for a while just to, have to sacrifice squats because, it's more important to run in the Marine Corps. Let's face facts on that one. But the squat rack was calling me. So while we're up in there in Japan, I see that nice squat rack. I'm like, you know what? Let me jump on that. So I'm trying to do my squats. I'm getting my squats back, and I'm suffering through the runs. Like, damn, it's like my knees just lock up on me. It felt that way. But I kept squatting, and then this one magical day, I kept up nicely with the run. It was like, wait, I can actually break out in the stride. What's going on here? And then I experimented another day, taking off the knee braces. Never put them back on since. So squatting saved my knees. And me being a heavyweight person, I was 250, 260 in the Marine Corps. I know that's considered fat for the Marine Corps, but whatever. I'm a fat guy, so be it. But here I am, 300 pounds, and still not worried about my fucking knees. They got the a little problem. That's more like that little problems from the Marine Corps here and there. They still kind of swell up on me every now and then. But from that previous point of me putting the knee braces on versus now, this is night and day. It's like I'm not stressing that much. A little, icy hot, and I'll be all right. Okay. Giving him a chance to see if he's going to pop back in after my little chit chat. Okay, let me talk a little bit more about squat, just a little bit more. My personal recommendation when it comes to squats is yes, do it. I train squats 3 days a week. I remember getting into a little debate with a thinner person claiming to be all, you know, athletically inclined, blah, blah, blah. But the topic was how to basically stop the DOMS effect. And me being a hey diddle diddle up the middle, just straightforward kind of guy, I basically you want to stop the DOMS effect, delayed onset muscle soreness, you need to train more. So the skinny person popped up was saying, well, I train legs 1 day a week and they're always sore. That's why they're always sore, because you only train them 1 day a week. So back to the topic of wanting to fight that delayed onset muscle soreness, you need to train more. And some people agreed. Other people tried to throw it in. I'm like, y'all are missing the point. It's trying to stop the delayed onset muscle soreness. And the best way to do that is to continue training. And then I threw another jab at that skinny dude. He blocked me. How precious. Well, that's because a lot of these dudes want to do legs, or they only train legs just because it's part of the package. But which leads me to this other story. Since Kevin is still gone, this other dude wanted to talk about how he doesn't train legs because he wanted to blame it on his workplace. Nah, after studying the dude's pattern for a period of time, turns out he's just a pretty boy. So he's under the impression of he's not going to train legs because they're not seen. This is not a jab at bodybuilders who actually train and yada. I'm talking about just the pretty boys who are trying to look pretty for them damn females. You're just over there. Legs are typically not seen in clothing, so you skip legs. You don't train legs because they're not pretty. Anywho, so then he wanted to talk trash about my squat. He wanted to talk trash about my squat, as in he doesn't need to use that much and shit like that. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't need to kiss so much female ass. And you need permission from your wife to even come in the fucking gym. Who are you talking to? So that was kind of cute. I guess the moral of that story is don't be one of these pretty fuck boys who skip leg day just because females aren't going to see your legs. And I'm not telling females to look at legs or my legs are prettier. We're not talking about all that. That's not, remember, this is still predominantly a pro masculinity channel. So don't worry about your appearance when it comes to winning female validation when it comes to your appearance. That's not what this is about. It's about you building a stronger you. And guess what, motherfuckers? Your legs are part of you. Especially if you're a heavyweight person with a lot of weight on you. You want to make sure your legs stay strong and your knees stay healthy, because that weight over time does build on you. And I believe Kevin might be coming back. There he is. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm back, man. Listen, sorry about the the inconvenience, y'all. I'm back. I'm actually on the phone now. But yeah, it's all good. We can definitely finish this way here, man. My computer literally just crashed, but it's all good. We still can keep the show and the podcast going, so we good.
All right. I just talked about two little hip pocket stories about my squat experience. But you're ready to move on, sir?
Yeah. So pretty much, yeah. We can continue with what you were talking about and then go from there. So you were talking about just your own squat stories and things like that, right?
Yeah, just filling time, just sharing these little stories. Just to recap real quick, the one story about basically squatting saved my knees in the Marine Corps. Running around a lot, basically had that other mindset of, squats are bad for your knees. Now that I'm feeling it, I laid off on it. But the squat rack was calling me. So back in Japan, I started squatting again. And then this one magical day, my knees didn't bother me as much, and I kept up with the runs a lot better. So I believe that that's just a myth about squats being bad for your knees. It's about how you squat, like we discussed earlier. And then two, this pretty boy who doesn't train legs just because legs aren't seen. But he's not a bodybuilder type. He's not anything like that. He's just doing it for female validation. Oh, females don't look at your legs, so I'm not going to train legs. You fucking pussy. So, so I'm
that's
basically
cap too. That's complete cap. Women do look at your legs. That's the first thing that bitches used to say about my legs, and I used to be tight because they'd be like, "Oh man, you got scrawny legs." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
shoot, female even complimented me on being proportional. So apparently, all that big burliness, they seeing something down there. So hey.
Wait.
but I remember that chick. She was pretty cool though. But basically, that little story, the story of that is to don't be that fuck boy. Train your legs because this is about masculinity, not about female validation. Train your legs because they're part of your body. And more masculinity talk is a good way to release a lot of testosterone that's in your body because it's a huge muscle group. So getting that nice and warmed up, you're getting that subtle testosterone pump to have a great day.
Oh, hell yeah. Testosterone has been scientifically proven to have boosts in your testosterone levels literally right after performing squats and doing a heavy squat, a squat specifically. So yeah, it's definitely known to boost testosterone levels for sure. And then, but even to go even more further and deeper about what you're saying, yeah, guys, like, look, don't avoid doing squats or focusing on your legs. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, when I started getting stronger in my quads, and when I developed my quads more, I became such a better performer. I'm talking about like at everything else, like things that used to bother me so much don't even bother me anymore because I've strengthened my legs and developed them and I have more size. It gives that proportion, but we also have to understand, like, anything that has to stand up, it's going to be more solid and grounded if it has a wider base. So if your legs are going to be wider, guess what? That's going to give you more support and you'll be more grounded. We need that as men as well. Like, that's a good, a good analogy in terms of masculinity. What? Being grounded. We're obviously we're not perfect. So, sometimes we might kind of come out of that grounded moment because we might have to choke slam somebody just real quick. But other than that, you get back in your grounded position, nigga, you good. But yeah, all jokes aside, that's why we should never avoid legs. Like, even with what Tony was saying earlier, like I can agree with him now. I love doing legs. I'm excited to do legs now because I'm getting better at it. Yeah, bro. I love it now, dog. I love it. It's now that I've gotten better at it and my legs are stronger, I can love it more. A lot of people ain't gonna love what they can't perform well or what they can't perform effectively. So now that I can do it more effectively, I'm like, oh shit, all right. Fuck it. It's perfect. So, but yeah, man, squats is definitely powerful and it's definitely an awesome movement, guys, for your legs. So don't neglect it. Do it, y'all. Make sure y'all hitting them squats for sure. And before we move on to the next, matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next, but it's the same exercise, except it's front barbell squat. So front barbell squat. Yo, I'm telling y'all, this is a powerful movement for your legs, doing it from the front. Right now, I can't show y'all the video with the actual tutorial of it, but essentially, it's literally just having the bar anywhere from, say, your shoulders, or somewhere in that fashion up in this region. And it's going to be very effective. And it really targets a lot on your quads and your quad development. What's your input on front squats, Tony? And do you do them? Have you done them in a while, or what do you think about it?
I do not do front squats. The reason being, what you're saying is true about how they target and everything. The problem I have with front squats is something that you would just have to accept if you decide to do them. Is when you put it on your chest right here, I'm too worried about the bar holding the bar balanced. Versus where the back squat, after you set it, you don't have to really worry about balancing it or losing grip. It's right there. So this one, that's where I'm concerned about. I'm more worried about having the bar up here and being in a tight grip here rather than the focus of the maneuver. So that's why I don't do front squats, especially with the weight I know I can do. It gets more dangerous. So I'm like, you know what? Let me leave that one alone. I've done it, but if I want to do something, not to jump the gun, but if I want to do something that targets the quads a little bit more, I would focus on leg press. That would be my option.
And we're going to get to that. We'll get to the leg press because that's definitely a very powerful movement for legs as well. And I totally understand that's very wise too of you as a lifter. And, you know, us experienced lifters, we understand when we have to adapt and we have to, choose certain movements specifically for us and our body. So that's very smart to find something that would be more suitable to still get the job done with just a different exercise. So guys, if y'all can relate to Tony, and you find that it can be a bit challenging at certain weights, or maybe it seems a bit more dangerous, and you might not feel very confident, then it's good to find something else that could target the same portion of the legs or the same thing, and go in on that. I will say this too, though, with the front squat, there's two approaches. You can cross your arms. I know I don't have the phone put up right now, but you can pretty much have both hands on your shoulder. Yeah, and bring your elbows up like what Tony doing, and you can literally hold the bar like that. That's one way you could do it. And then the other way that you could do it is you can literally hold the bar this way and bring your elbows up.
That's definitely an option for me.
It's just one of the movements, man. It's like, and that's the thing about these lifts. That's the beauty of these lifts, though. You literally have to learn how to do it, and you have to learn technique. And some of these movements, you literally have to prepare your body to do these lifts. There's prerequisites that you have to meet before you even try to do the front squat or some of these things. So I think another good thing about some of these movements is it can encourage you to improve yourself in other areas concerning your body and your fitness, mobility, functionality. These are big, important things that I think a lot of lifters look over too. But if we focus on improving mobility and functionality, and which I try to do with my clients, we can do a lot of these movements more better and more easier. So, but the biggest thing, the front squat will help you develop your legs just as well as the back. But I will say start with a light weight and get good at that movement first. Our bodies are powerful, they're awesome, and they adapt. And guess what? You keep working with that weight, keep adding a little bit of weight on progressively. Shit, even Tony, I could tell Tony, you just ain't trying, you just don't want to mess with it. And that's cool. If we find something we just don't want to do, that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're still interested in doing it, I highly say, but it's difficult for you, I highly say work on it. Take your time and really get good at that movement and make it a craft and really get good at it, and you'll notice some good benefits with that, with the leg. What you think about that too, Tony? You agree with that? If someone focuses on developing the movement and performing it, they'll get better.
Yes, practice makes perfect. I think there's an upgraded version of that, but the idea is continuous practice. The more you practice and the more you actually learn about the maneuver, your own limitations, the more you're able to actually break and surpass those limitations. And then you just add a little extra weight on that as you grow up. It's like that's part of the process. It's like kind of the reason why I'm doing this. And yeah, if you want to get good at something, you get your hands dirty and do it. That's the best way to learn anything.
Big facts, man. Yeah. And that's a part of masculinity. That's why I think lifting weights is something I believe all men should do, right? Wherever you stand, whatever you are, no matter how weak you are, strong you are, I think all men should do it. It's a great craft. And it's funny, I started up a debate about if bodybuilding or if a bodybuilder would be considered an athlete. In my personal opinion, I truly believe that even power lifters, bodybuilders, people who utilize weights and metal, to, get stronger and do these different movements, I think we're all athletes because it takes a craft You have to learn technique. You have to learn form. And these are movements that you can get better at and greater at, you know? So in my own personal opinion, I think that we're all athletes because it takes a bit of athleticism to perform and to do these movements, period. So yeah, man, that's why my fitness company is Superhuman Athletics, man, because we are athletes, man. We out here lifting this heavy ass weight, you know, going in. This shit is, I mean, it ain't no a game or a joke. It's a serious thing, and it's very, it takes skill and it takes experience to get very good at it. So,
on that note, there was one of the philosophers from back in the day. I think it was Socrates, if I'm not mistaken. One of his quotes, paraphrasing, is basically, "It's no citizen." I'm talking to men, but no citizen should ever be a amateur when it comes to athletics. What shame would it be to not experience the power and beauty of being an athlete, just to grow old and not experience it? So he said something to that effect. And what you're saying definitely reflects to that, because the idea of bodybuilding being a sport, or the idea of just men pumping iron, that is a freaking kind of what we want to do. Because just to headbutt with each other, it's like the bigger, stronger guy. It's like you kind of want to do that anyway. So why not? Why be intimidated by the fact how do you get bigger and stronger? You pump this iron and freaking you pick up little rocks. You pick up bigger rocks. You pick things up. You put them down. As grunt and Neanderthal as that sounds, that is the freaking core masculinity, to try to be the biggest dude on the block, the sidewalk cracking motherfucker, if you will. You want to be that guy. Now, granted, just being a little modern, know when to use that card though. But you got the aesthetics and you got the power to let everybody else know, hey, we're going to do the right thing, right? You kind of could be like that on people.
yeah. Hell yeah, like right, motherfucking flex on them, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, for sure. Because, you know, it embodies masculinity. One of the biggest things that I think about when it comes to it is you want to be strong and capable simply because of your position as a man. You know, if shit hits the fan, you got to be able to maneuver, and you got to be able to pivot correctly, and you got to be able to, you know, protect if need be. That's a very important thing, and that's why we're strong. And we want to be as strong as we possibly can. We want to be highly functional. We want to be capable for any given situation. You know, that's very masculine. I think that is highly masculine. If you know you ain't starting no trouble, you don't want no bullshit, but something pop off and you got to protect your wife and your children, or you got to protect, you know, the people that's with you, or whatever the case, and you can just shut the shit down and get back to your grounded position calmly. That is some masculine shit, you know. And honestly, I think lifting weights and training and just bettering ourselves is just one of the highest expressions of masculinity, bro. Period. I think that's a great way. It's very masculine. I'm pulling anybody say. So
I'm trying to get these young guys, man. You need to stop being intimidated by 225 and 315. You need to get to 315. You get the. I know it's subjective, all that blah blah blah, but scoring that 315 bench press for at least 3 reps, I think that should be every fucking man's goal. I don't care how tiny your frame may be. The idea of pushing towards that goal, and that's the goal. Don't be just intimidated by it. Oh, that's 315. I could never do that. Bullshit. Have you tried, motherfucker? Come on now. I'm sorry. I get passionate about that. Don't be afraid of this. Who told you that to be afraid of that? Get under that shit. Pump this little weight first, and then feel that pressure. That's you being a man now. Feeling that pressure, feel that resistance, and grow. I'm sorry. I got
bro, you don't have to apologize, man. That's some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they gotta get they gotta get under there. They gotta get their feet wet. Like honestly, I'm gonna keep it 100. I think that a lot of people feel like that because of the language that's passed around. You know, you'll hear some people say, "Oh, yeah, that's that 315. That's man weight right there." You know, or you'll hear people say these things. So I think a lot of guys get a bit discouraged, especially when some of the people that be talking and saying, "Oh, that's that man weight right there," be fucking pumping the shit out, you know, for reps. It's like
guilty.
These guys are like, damn, this motherfucker said that's man weight. He over there banging that shit out. You know.
But understand, people like who do that, including myself, we had to start somewhere, and you can't. You look at the thing, yeah, you can't touch it now, but if you get your feet wet and actually push for it, maybe that one day you'll clear it. Uh, quick off tangent. There was one dude back in high school. He was like one of the strongest bench pressers. He was the king at that time, just because he was one of the very few that can actually pump 3 plates for a few reps. So he was the king. But
Yeah.
here's just fat body me coming in, joining in the weight training. I just stuck to what the coaches told me, and I put a little gusto behind it. I even told the coach, "Hey, coach, you mind if I do bench press again rather than this other little program?" He's like, "No, you gotta stick with the program." Fine, but I did eventually get up to doing 315. One of the other heavyweights, he went off script one day and failed at bench pressing 345. And it was just weird how he did it. I'm like, that's not how we trained at all. And then here I am. I'm the big guy that's threatening the other big guy. You know, he's the big guy, not you. But I freaking did. I outbenched him that strength meet, and he did not respect me at all after that. I'm like, well, first of all, you're the one who jumped way too much. Number one. And number two, I'm just doing my thing. Why are you mad?
No, it's like just doing my thing, man. You mad? You mad? You know, and here's another thing too. Like, I think the biggest thing that I think is guys, and if y'all listening too, and if you're struggling or 315 is too heavy for you or whatever the case is, I want y'all to understand something. Me being a personal trainer, I know that if you have the right approach, you get stronger. Like, one of the biggest mistakes that I made was I did not focus on strength. I've never focused on strength. Like right now, this is my first time ever focusing on strength. So a lot of people do that, and a lot of people are doing that. And that's why a lot of us are weak, or we're not as strong as some of these other guys, or say like Tony, or even some of these other guys. All we have to do is just find that focus and say, all right, bet, I want to get stronger now. So do what it takes to get stronger. Put enough food in your body. Make sure you're eating enough protein, enough carbs, you know, enough food. Fuel yourself and work in these rep ranges to say anywhere from 3 to 5 reps, and keep doing that for 3 weeks. Switch it up after the 3 weeks. You will notice strength gains. I'm telling you, you will get stronger. And make sure your form is good. You'll get stronger. So yeah, with all that being said, guys, the biggest thing is if you want to get stronger on these lifts, just get your diet together and get a plan together in terms of lifting heavier. Just stay in the rep ranges of about 3 to 5. I honestly say 5. 5 is a great sweet spot. Do that for about 3 weeks, take it up to about 6 to 8, and then go back to 3 to 5 after you do that for 3 weeks. Just keep switching it every 3 weeks. You're gonna get stronger, man. I'm telling you. I'm excited to see where the fuck my shit gonna go, but you know, I'm about to cut down, so I'm really just putting on a little strength just to kind of hold it, you know, just to kind of prepare myself for the deficit that I'm gonna be at, you know, so that I can maintain some muscle and strength in the process. But anyway. Yeah, we in there, man. Just keep that in mind, guys. All right, so we're gonna move on to another movement in terms of developing legs. Another exercise that's very powerful. Real quick, we got Sharon Constable in the chat, and she pretty much said, "Hope you both had a great Christmas." Yo, thank you, Sharon Constable. Hope you had a great Christmas as well. I hope you were able to enjoy it with your family, or, you know, even if you didn't enjoy it with your family and you was just able to enjoy it, you know, with whomever. I hope it was a great one for you for sure. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on. So another powerful move that I think all guys should be putting into play, especially if you deal with this, especially if you have one leg that's bigger than the other one, or one leg that's stronger than the other one. You know what I'm saying? If you deal with this kind of muscular imbalance or even strength imbalance, you need to be doing some either one-legged deadlifts. One-legged deadlifts are powerful, or single leg deadlifts are powerful. You could also do the man, I don't know why this exercise is missing me right now. The what is it? What is it? What is it? It's when you're doing it's kind of like you're doing like a lunge. You put your foot on the back, and look, I'm a personal trainer and can't even remember this damn movement. Anyway, you put your back foot on a bench or something like that. Then you step a little forward with your back foot on the bench, and then you kind of lunge forward. Fuck. I'm tight right now, y'all. I cannot think of the name right now. But anyway,
Stationary lunge, maybe.
no, it's not that one. And you can use a kettlebell or you can use a dumbbell.
Pistol squat.
Bulgarian split squat. Bulgarian split squat. That's what it's called, y'all.
What is that?
So Bulgarian split squat. Let me see if I can do this on the phone. If I can share a video on here. Hopefully I can, y'all, and then I can pull a video up just like I was doing before. But if you guys get a chance, just look it up when you get a chance. Look, you can look on Google, you can look on YouTube. But the Bulgarian split squat is literally where you place one foot. It could be a bench behind you or a chair behind you. You put your foot on that joint, right? And then you take your other right leg and you step forward a bit and you literally lunge. You literally squat down with one leg. But it's literally a split squat. It's called the Bulgarian split squat. But this is going to have amazing effects and improved development in your legs. It's also going to help you get stronger in each leg because it'll pretty much isolate one leg from the other. So I highly suggest that if you're trying to get some improvement with your legs and you want to have that symmetry in terms of size and symmetry in terms of strength, I highly suggest that you start doing Bulgarian split squats. And also make sure when you do this that you start off with the weak leg first. So do the Bulgarian split squat with the weak leg first, and then use your stronger leg next. So then you don't, overtrain your strong leg, and then when you get to the weak leg, you can't even do the same amount of reps. So make sure you always start off with your weaker leg, so that you'll have an even level of training to catch that weak leg up with the stronger leg. So, man, I wish I could share this thing. Let me see. It's funny, y'all. Like my computer literally is like black. What the hell happened? But yeah, it was black. It's like all black, but I don't know. Like blackety black. It's blickety black. All right. So yeah, I can't. Damn, I don't see an option to share video, but it's all good, y'all, man. When you guys get a chance, just look up the Bulgarian squat, split squat. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, can't do it. All right. When y'all get a chance, man, just definitely look up the Bulgarian split squat. I think you'll be highly amazed, and just get used to it. When you learn how to do it, start off light, just like any movement that you're not used to doing. Start off light, work at it. Start adding weight. The more you get stronger at it, and do it. And I guess Tony, since you don't know what I'm talking about, man, do you have any single leg suggestions that you could give to the fellas that's watching or the people that's watching?
Single maneuvers. I don't have any suggestions on that, I guess. But I did like what you said about training your. I guess I accept if one side's weaker, it's just going to happen. But I do like what you said when it came to training the weaker side first. So because the stronger side's already got the guaranteed reps apparently, but I try to keep it the same. If I'm going to utilize that, train that one side first, and then this other side's going to hit it. So I do like that a little bit.
Yeah, man, this is definitely effective. It helped me out a lot because I surely was dealing with the same thing as well. I literally have my left calf is literally bigger than my right calf muscle, like. Yeah, and it literally comes from when I used to play ball. I would dunk, right? And I would always dunk off of my left foot and my left calf. And I literally used to just train that motherfucker and wouldn't even worry about my right calf, bro. So I'm literally dealing with that shit right now, dog. It's crazy. But
That's like those professional arm wrestlers. They're freaking one arm that they are dominant with, just freaking jacked. Like some
shit.
Popeye the Sailor shit, but only one arm.
It'll fuck you up with that one arm, yo. Like that one arm will take your lights out. But
more power to him for actually being that way. That dedication to that. That's also masculine right there, though. To just be so dedicated and focused on a single craft and big ass the freaking powerhouse arm. This one is just 2 shades in the wind, but let's go.
yeah. You can talk all the shit in the world about my other arm, but you ain't fucking with this arm. This arm is fucking. This arm will take everybody's life. Like, yeah, it is. It is a powerful thing having that focus and that's with anything. You know what I'm saying? That's with anything. I think that's why I love lifting so much, because it is a craft. I don't care what nobody say. Lifting is a craft, and it is something that we can develop and get better and better at and become masters. You know what I'm saying? The more and more we grow in knowledge and understand all the concepts of weightlifting, it's so much more deeper than just picking some fucking weight up and putting the shit down. It's more to it.
But you cannot really appreciate that unless you do it. And that's another beautiful thing about it. You can see all the powerlifters, bodybuilders in the world you're only seeing the peak of the iceberg. And that's where it's really disrespectful when people they ignore the rest of that fucking iceberg. Had that little bitty peak. And all these other normal civilians just like, oh, well, steroid this or big for no reason that. And it's just, wow, respect the man for that discipline in that craft, because that peak moment is the thing he's sharing with the world that you can see. But you want to really ignore that fucking big ass iceberg of effort, sacrifice, food, training, just sacrificing friends and family just to freaking have that little peak above that water that you can see. Your punk ass. Come on now.
Straight up, man. Like, and I totally agree with that. And it's funny because literally today when I was at Walmart, I had to get me and my wife a new phone. And I seen these 2 little kids walking with their mom, and it was some young boys, man, young black boys, man. And one of them, he was talking to his brother, he was like, yeah, nah, man, that dude on steroids, man. Like, I promise you, it's funny that you said that, because I literally just watched 2 young black boys saying that. And I'm like, man, that's the world that we live in, man. Like, and the thing is people don't realize how powerful the body is and how capable the body is naturally when we do the right approaches. I'm telling y'all, like, people are going to probably think I'm on steroids. Give me about another year and a half. The progress that I'm going to make probably within like the next year and a half, maybe 2 years, I'm sure people are going to think I'm using. But it's literally just knowing what to do and how to do it, and then genetics too as well. I ain't gonna lie, I got eye genetics, so I can't negate that. But
Are you flexing your privilege at us right now, sir? Is that what you're doing? You need to check your privilege. How dare you?
Just a little bit. Just a little. But and I wouldn't say I damn for sure don't got perfect genetics. Like one of my genetic dispositions is gynecomastia, and gynecomastia is pretty much gyno. It's pretty much having like slight. It really comes from. Check this out. It's gonna trip you out. A lot of the times, guys get gyno in puberty simply because their testosterone levels are pretty high at a young age. Therefore, it causes their estrogen to have to adapt as well. And I went through that. So, a lot of people kind of talk shit about gyno and say, oh, this bitch tits, or, whatever the case. But in all honesty, in all actuality, it literally comes from a higher than normal testosterone level at a young age. I was 12 and I went through it. I had gyno from 11, 12, 13, and I still deal with it to this day. I just been able to lower the noticeability of it, but that's a genetic disposition right there that kind of fucks me up a little bit. Like if I really want to get into competing, I'm gonna have to really do something about that, or I might even have to get the surgery because they don't play that shit in competing. So, but yeah, So that's something to kind of throw in there with the genetics. Like I got good genetics, but I also have some bullshit too. But yeah. So real quick, we're gonna get back to the main topic as well. Like with the single leg shit. So here's another powerful thing that you guys could do. Just start thinking about different single leg movements or some of these different leg exercises that you could do with just one leg. Like say the leg extension. Start you doing it with just one leg. Separate each leg and do some leg extensions with one leg. I do it all the time. This is powerful to get more of that symmetry with your legs. Also, even the leg press, and we're gonna get into the leg press next. But you can even do a single leg press or a single leg press where you literally just use one leg, put enough weight on there that you could do with one leg, and literally take turns with each. Let's start with the weak leg and then go with the stronger leg next. And eventually, man, them damn legs is gonna balance out. You're gonna get stronger and they're gonna look more symmetrical in that sense. So definitely something to think about. Now, the next movement, and I'm gonna let Tony go ahead and start it off because he said something about it earlier. But another powerful movement for your legs is definitely going to be the leg press. There's multiple different variations of the leg press, but overall, just your standard leg press is gonna be powerful for the legs. Tony, why do you believe that this is very good for the legs, and how do you view it? How you feel about it, and do you do it a lot?
I like to add. I like to add leg press as a superset to the tail end of my squats. I wish I had a little bit more time to fully dedicate to that, but I've been experimenting with it, and I like the feel and the pump of that. But if we're talking about leg press solo by itself, it's good for your legs because when you're in that machine and you got nothing but leg strength doing it. So your body is fully locked. You got the little handles down here. You disengage. You're going. Now, also, this is what happens with the young cats out there. Because it's such an isolated, just pure leg strength is working, you're able to load up a lot of numbers. A lot of these rookies out here will get so damn overconfident. Hey, look at my leg press. I could do about 1,000 pounds. When it comes to leg press, that's not really all that impressive, good sir, because you put those 5, 6 weights on the squat, what's going to happen? You're probably going to so don't let leg press strength fulfill your ego, because if anything, I will say leg press is good for leg development. Close on. Okay, but that's for leg development, as in more of a bodybuilding angle. I would say more the strength. Sure, they overlap a lot. Powerlifting, the strength training, and bodybuilding, they overlap a lot because you're doing basically the same thing. But I think it's really good for developing the legs. Because since you're in there, you can just do crazy amount of reps and just feel it. You can do it, and it's pretty safe as long as you do not super extend your freaking knees. Those people who just try to jump it they got shit ton of weight on there, you got the plates falling off and shit, and they freaking hyperextend their knees, people get folded that way. So again, with any exercise, be careful, think with your head, not just your, I don't know.
I was just about to say, don't think with your dick. Don't think with your dick.
On that one, I want to say your balls. You can't use your balls to do the thing for you. I gotta prove myself. No, you don't. Just develop yourself. That's what you do.
Right.
And I think that's the beautiful thing about the leg press. And with different foot placement, you can target your quads in different angles. So I like to use the heavily focus on the quads. I try to take a more narrow stance, and I try to like we were talking before about the front squat. I'd rather use the more narrow stance and just crank out the quadness.
Yes, that's one of the beautiful things that I love about the leg press too, is foot placement and being able, to hit different parts of the legs. Like if you go a little more wider with your foot placement, then you're going to hit more hamstring, you're going to hit more glute. And then if you come a bit closer, like what Tony's saying, you're going to definitely hit more You definitely hit more of your quads. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I really, really, really love about the leg press. Um, because not only that, you got to think about when you're on a leg press, your lower back is free. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people actually will omit the squat, especially if they have back issues or lower back issues, and go for the leg press. They'll literally do that because it takes the lower back out of the equation. And by you taking the lower back out of the equation, now you can put so much more focus into your legs. You can really figure out like, okay, what do I really want to hit on this session of the leg press? You know, do I want to really focus on my hamstrings and my hamstrings and my glutes? All right, I'm going to definitely put my feet out wider. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure my feet is out wide. And I'm going to even have my toes out a little bit. That's a quick thing I want to tell y'all too, a quick tip. So foot placement, where you have your foot at, will dictate what you're hitting the most. And this is even with the squat. If your feet are close, quad. Feet are wider, glutes and hamstrings. But if you point your toes outward, now we're talking about different parts of the hamstring and different parts of the quads. This is what I was saying earlier when I was saying lifting weights is a craft. And once you start to learn it more, it's no different from any of these other sports and then their craftsmanship either, because you learn these different techniques, angles, and you know, the toe placement, the toe being outward and the toe being inward. All these beautiful things can help you really create and cultivate your legs into how you want it to be. So yeah, man, like you gotta love the leg press. I ain't really been doing it lately like that because I'm so focused on the squat, but it's been a minute, bro. Like I probably haven't leg pressed. Shit, it's probably been about a solid month and a half, man, almost 2 months, man, because I just been so focused on the squat, yo. Like just perfecting that shit. So, but it is what it is.
Another irritant about the leg press, I feel you have to load up so many freaking plates, and it's just an irritating factor for me. Just going like, you know what, I gotta load all this weight up, then I gotta take it all off. So for the leg press, I would hope to be at a gym that has 100-pound plates. That just helps minimize the workload on just taking the weight on and off. That's just me. Unfortunately, the gym I currently use is about to close down. They do have 100-pound plates. I got to go to the other one, and they got the standard 45s, but it's like, yeah, that's going to be some work there.
Yeah, man. And I totally agree with that, bro. That's something, I wasn't thinking about, but it's a fact. I also think that's why I ain't even been doing the leg press, because I'm focusing on heavy now. And I'm focusing on strength now. So yeah, honestly, I'm gonna keep it 100. I usually like to utilize the leg press when I know my rep ranges are gonna be a bit higher. Like if I know I'm gonna be in the 8 to 12 rep range, or like the 8 to 15, or even if I want to, really get that what is it, psychroplasmic? I think it's called psychroplasmic effect in the muscles, where you're rushing blood to the muscles, and I'm up to like the 15 to 20, 15, 25 rep range. That's when I like to hop on that damn leg press, because then I ain't got to put, like you said, I ain't got to put all that damn weight on there. You know what I'm saying? And then have to take it all the way the fuck off. I mean, we're talking a minimum, 14, 16 plates. That's minimum if I'm gonna go heavy. Like shit. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's a great one, Tony. And leg press is definitely powerful, y'all. I highly suggest that y'all rock with the leg press for sure, because it's definitely gonna help y'all out. Now, so okay, let's go a little more in depth in terms of like why it's important to have strong legs and developed legs. Let's kind of go dig deep into our personal perspectives on why it's a good reason to have strong and developed legs. I go first. So one thing I'm gonna say is, listen, just like I was saying earlier, guys, proportion is very important. Tony even said, he had a chick tell him that he was very proportioned. Proportion is very important. It's not just important for like aesthetics and how we look. Being proportion is very important for like you being able to like be firm and to be grounded and to be able to stand your ground. Like, You know, if your legs a little wobbly, little bony ass, weak ass legs, somebody can easily somebody all they gotta do is just tap your motherfucking legs, man. You're gonna fold. You're gonna fold, bro, like a paper swan. You know what I'm saying? Your body is gonna fold like some origami, bro. Like if you if you got scrawny legs and like I'm not gonna say my legs were super duper scrawny. I had a little strength in them. I wasn't, crazy weak, but it's times where I got dumped on my motherfucking head, man. And it was because my legs wasn't strong. It's one time this guy got me, and it was because my legs wasn't super strong. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why you want to have very strong legs. It carries your body. It transports you from here to and fro. You know what I'm saying? And if something pop off, you don't want nobody to be able to just dump you on your head because your legs are weak and you don't have a strong foundational base. So this is one super reason why you need to be really focusing on your legs and developing them things, man, so you can be prepared for anything that might happen. What's your view on it, Tony? And what's one reason why you feel that way as well? Why it's important to have your legs right?
Well, our legs, if you're a healthy, able-bodied person, that's our predominant way of freaking experiencing life. You gotta walk and get to wherever you want to do things or manipulate whatever. So doesn't it make sense to make sure that your legs are taken care of? They're strong and healthy. We take advantage of the fact that defaultly the legs are just there and they move, but then you want to talk about upper body stuff and blah blah blah. But your legs are the thing that gets you to everywhere. To neglect that, your foundation, is very stupid. Evolution has made us be able to walk upright, correct? Well, why don't we appreciate the stressors that made us into that to freaking just go ahead and make sure they're nice, strong, and healthy? Did you freeze on me? I think you did. Okay, I didn't expect to freeze there. Your leg should not be neglected. Again, it's good for testosterone, that testosterone release, and you do everything with your legs. Everything, all athletics is all about basically strong legs. There was an episode of American Dad where Stan Smith, he wanted to maintain his wrestling record, and he said the key factor to maintain your wrestling record is having strong legs. So then the Roger character, the alien who's just always wrecking shit, apparently he had just freaking super strong legs. He was able to freaking leg press a fucking tree clear across the freaking yard. Yeah, so that's just insane, but he did it. It was like, and then him and Stan honestly end up in a wrestling match, and then he's Stan's trying to pin him down. He said, "Hey Stan, what does wine have?" That's like the drippage of wine. I'm not a wine connoisseur, taster, or whatever the fuck, pinky out. But he says legs. It's called legs. Then you see the close up of his legs. They freaking bulge up, feign up, and freaking launch Stan clear into the air. So it's pretty. That's just hilarious. Training. I guess training in general is just a very masculine and powerful thing. You have to have that mentality to not be intimidated. You can't be intimidated by someone else's greatness. Imagine freaking Hulk Hogan, prime Hulk Hogan. I don't know. I grew up in the '90s with a splash of the '80s. So I'm over here thinking, I'm looking at Hulk Hogan. I want to be like Hulk Hogan. I don't get intimidated by the fact that he is Hulk Hogan. I'm not saying that to bolster up and yada yada. I'm saying that as in, just because he's great, someone else is in a higher position than you or whatever, that doesn't stop your own development. Don't do that to yourself. And if you're really that impressed or enthralled, admiring, if you will, of someone else's supposed greatness, that means that thing is you care about that thing. So why not train in the fashion or develop yourself in that field that you think is so important? Welcome back.
Yes, and yeah, even with you saying that, bro, like in that actual you developing yourself in that fashion in that field, that's real. Like what I'm saying, 100%. So Yeah,
You heard everything. You heard everything I said.
well, not everything. I got like the little last of it.
Oh, okay. Long story short, legs are important. I'm basically told how they are our foundation. This is how we get around. This is how we move. And evolution put us upright. So why don't we just freaking keep these legs strong and healthy as long as possible? You don't want to be in a position where you don't have strong legs or legs are just unable to move. Even if you're a fat fucker like me, having strong legs is very important. That's why I'm 300 pounds, but yet I don't have a lot of 300-pound issues. And the biggest issue is the weight bearing down on your legs. Well, you never train anyway to get to X amount of weight, and you don't have strong legs. That shit's killing you long term. Even at my overweight status right now, I understand it's a factor. That's why I do my best to not skip leg day. I'm not saying I'm trying to get fatter per se and eat to get to 400, 500 pounds. I'm not saying that by any means, but it is a legitimate concern. And like I said before, squats saved my knees from that other workload. So strong legs are very important.
Yes, man, I totally agree with that. And man, I can hear the passion in your voice, and you could tell it comes from actual results and like just noticing how much better you felt and how much better you were able to just perform and function. And that's one of the biggest things about it. Like, and I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback off of the knee improvement. I had a lot of issues with my knees prior to me, squatting, and it was literally because my VO muscles weren't very strong. These are some of the key parts of the quads that's going to really give you that leg stability and knee stability. A lot of the times, a lot of us improve in strength and we lose pain in our knees when we squat because those muscles may have been a bit, underdeveloped. So once we start to squat more, it improves our knee health and it'll even lower pain. So that's why, guys, if y'all are interested in growing and understanding, get you a trainer. I would recommend y'all come holler at me, right? Because I know my shit. But at the same time, I understand if you know somebody that's closer to you or somebody that you may know better would be a better fit for you. That's fine. I just want to encourage you to find a trainer who really knows what they're doing so that you can learn as much as you can to perform these things well to get the best benefit. You could do the wrong thing. You could be doing the right thing the wrong way and it'll set you back. It'll set you back. And that ain't just with lifting weights. That's in life. You could be doing the right thing and think you're doing it right, but you're actually doing it wrong. It's gonna make you worse, man. You know what I'm saying? So just definitely, if you find yourself having issues, pain, man, get you a trainer. Get with somebody who know what they're doing. They can help you improve. So that's the biggest thing I think we should touch on with that. But yeah,
I helped the young cat on his bench press. He was doing bench press the right thing, but he was doing it the wrong way. He was complaining about his wrist so much. I'm saying, look at your shoulders. You got a way tighter hand placement. Told him to bump it out. Wrist pain just went away.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the body, and it's powerful. But that's the beauty of the body and how different we all are. All of our bodies and the structure of our bones, our skeletal structure is so different at times. It's the same, we got the same bones, but it's structured a bit different. So, we got to figure out what works for us and what's comfortable for us. Some guys, they might be able to really enjoy somewhat of obviously not too narrow because that's tricep focus, but they might be able to do better with their hands kind of closer, to the middle and whatnot. But you gotta figure out what works for you. So, and that's with everything. That's with every movement and all that good shit.
I like talking about strength training because I think a lot of life lessons I've learned in the gym just from my experience in there. Learning yourself, i.e., learning how your body is structured and what it's good at, what it's weak at. How can you improve in these areas? Learning how the resistance, the struggle, if you will, how it develops character. I put up a video today about it with me failing on a bench press. And then I talked about how the weights humble you. You come into the gym not because you think you're strong, it's because you know you're weak. That's why you go to the gym. That's why you train. And once you humble yourself mentally before stepping up in the gym, now you can grow because now you know your place. And I mean that in the most respectful way, not sounding big dog way. It's like, yes, know where you are and then grow and build.
Yes, man. Y'all better listen to what the man Tony is saying. That is some real shit. Because I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, I've been humbled many a times on that motherfucking bench. You know what I'm saying? One time I called myself going to the gym. I'm like, all right, bet, I'm going heavy today. Yeah. And man, I ain't eat hardly anything before I went to the gym. My damn wife was there and everything. Like, it was embarrassing as shit. And I went up under about I think it was like 365, man. And it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It's just I didn't have enough fuel in me. I didn't have enough carbs in me. So I went and tried to do that shit and fucked around and damn near dropped that shit on my chest. You know what I'm saying? I had to maneuver to get that shit off me. But you'll learn a lot in life. You'll learn some powerful lessons just by going to the gym, like Tony said. That lesson right there was, okay, Kevin, next time, make sure that you eat enough. First of all, make sure that you have a decent amount of energy before you go to the gym. Also make sure that you've been eating enough for, a good amount of time. Like, how has your food or your intake level been looking for the last 2 weeks? Have you been at a deficit or are you at a surplus? And I ended up really going back and looking at, how I've been eating for about a couple weeks. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm at a serious deficit. What do I expect? Of course I'm going to lose strength, So, guys, the gym can make you or break you. You know what I'm saying? As long as you learning and you're taking advantage of the information that you get when you get in that gym and you experience this shit. For sure.
Yes, and humble yourself to grow and adapt. Now he took that L right there, sucked it up, learned from his mistake. Now he's back at it and growing better because now he's able to approach it from a smarter angle, just mentally, just like, okay, this is what I did wrong. Correct it. Let's try it again.
Yeah. Like at that moment, I tried to do 365 that time and it was like, no. But now, I could push 405 now. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is,
On the bench press, you in the 4-play club, sir?
Oh yeah, bro. I just got in that motherfucker, man. Just got in there, Just got in, man. Well, no. So the first time I did it with reverse band. Like you can do reverse band to help you get stronger and everything like that. That was the first time I did it. And then I did it raw, for 1 rep. It was a struggle. I ain't gonna cap. Like it was a hard rep. But once I go through this little period here and I start getting a bit stronger, I think I should see some improvement with that 4 or 5. But definitely once I really take like a good 9 months and just focus on strength, I'm gonna surpass 4 or 5. Like. There's no question about it. But yeah.
Oh, love it.
y'all, I'm telling y'all, let's see, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. And you know what? I can't wait to talk to you during that phase because you already there. So it's good to have somebody like you in my corner who you get under there. You just wiping your ass with 315. Like 315 ain't nothing. Like you just taking a shit while you hitting that. It's nothing to you.
No, 315 for 20 Magnum is just a tip.
Facts, and that's something that I told you, something I admire about you, man. And I'm excited to see what I'm gonna reach once I really focus on strength and take a good amount of time because I've never done that before. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with that. I think it's going to be pretty lit for sure.
Love it.
But anyway, guys, man, in a nutshell, man, I think that if y'all follow these tips for sure and like y'all really focus on, these movements, you can't go wrong. The back barbell squat, front squat, Romanian deadlift, leg press, and then focusing on, some of these single leg movements on some of these movements. You will see some great development in your legs, but make sure that you are eating enough, okay? You don't got to be at no crazy surplus, man. You know what I'm saying? Just, I say probably go about a good, 300 calories over your maintenance. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe even 200. You don't even got to go to 3. In that case, you should really see some good increases in strength and development in your legs. So, and make sure that you're adding weight each week. Challenge yourself each week to try to do a heavier weight to make sure that you're getting stronger as well. But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, I feel like we really hit it and tackled it. We could have talked about the deadlift, the standard deadlift. It is very effective for legs. It is. Don't get me wrong. That shit is good for your entire body, actually. The kinetic chain and your entire body, just being able to do that and maneuver that and pull like that. And yeah, but it's definitely a good movement. What you think, Tony? You like the deadlift is pretty good to you too, right? In terms of legs and glutes and all that shit.
Yes, because if you don't have that foundation developed, at least already its own developed, isolated, the deadlift will always be a weaker point because it starts from there. So once you get in that position, you lock your body in, you suck it up, and then you drive from the heels and freaking just stand up. And that's coming from the legs predominantly. The rest of the body is basically trying to maintain your balance. That's another thing I like to say about squats. Because remember I told you about that whole 5 weeks of me pulling those mad doubles I had to sacrifice the gym?
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing the squats, just trying to get the reps down, see where I'm at and everything, guess what other muscle groups started hurting because I did that?
What?
Abs. That core strength you get from your from doing your legs, because it's about balance, and balance is a lot focused on the abs. So you get a little supplemental ab routine in there by holding your balance and keeping your back straight, making sure your lower back isn't in danger. That takes a lot of focus, and that's coming from your abs.
Yeah, I think a lot of people overlook that too. Like with multiple smaller, body parts or smaller muscle groups, like say your biceps, your triceps, you're working a lot of these things out when you're doing a lot of these compound movements already. So, that's why when I do a lot of my program designs, some of my clients, they'll be like, yo, Kev, why you only got me doing 2 sets of, or 3 sets of bicep curls and only 2 sets of like tricep pushdowns? I'm like, man, you are already, hitting your biceps and your tries when you're doing the weighted pull-up, when you're doing the deads, when you're doing the bent over rows, when you're doing the bench press, when you're doing these different movements. Not to say that there's anything wrong with doing more volume on these smaller body parts, but you just have to understand you are already putting some type of effects on those muscle groups by doing these compound lifts. And just like what Tony just said, your abs are being trained. You have to stabilize yourself doing these damn movements. If you don't, you go fucking tip over, especially the damn squat. Your ass go fold if you ain't got your abs engaged.
It happens. It even happens to the best of us. I remember a couple of attempts at 600. It ain't happening. I had to go down and freaking get myself up out of there.
Yeah. It ain't nothing like that, bro. It ain't nothing like when you like really like fold with some heavy ass weight. You trying to like save your own life in the moment. Like you trying to. That shit ain't no joke, man. I've been there too, dog. This is back when I ain't gonna lie, I did get pretty heavy in my box squat at one point. I got all the way up to about, no cap, 675, bro. I got some videos. But it was a box squat, and the box was pretty high. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a real low depth box squat. But I still was kind of happy about that. But anyway, I think I tried to do 705 or some shit, bro. I had to drop that shit, bro. I had to let it fly. There's no way. I had to get the hell up out of there because my whole back felt like it was about to split. Word up.
How do you fail? Like, how do you fail? Like, do you have like a method of failing?
Yeah, see, I always believe in the concept of failing forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what it is that I do, I always think of failing as failing forward. So, like, say something like that happens where, like, okay, I didn't get it or I didn't hit it. I'm gonna hit that motherfucker eventually. And I look at it like, if I can't hit it in the moment, I'll get to hit it eventually, and I'm gonna work toward hitting it eventually. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at failure. I look
No,
at
no, no.
failure.
I'm sorry. Not
Yeah.
failure itself. I'm talking about how do you fail? Do you have a technique when it comes to fail? Okay, I
Oh,
can't get it up. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Like, what do I do if I'm like failing at a squat? Like,
Yes.
oh, okay. I mean, usually I'll have like, like safety racks to the side. If I'm in a squat rack, I'll make sure I put the safety racks there, and I'll just let that motherfucking bar drop on those safety racks. You know what I'm saying? If need be. But if I don't have any racks around me, that shit is hitting the floor, bro. Like, like straight up. Like I mean, it's either the weight's gonna hit the floor or I'm gonna fucking hit the floor. So them weights is hitting the floor. Like,
Okay.
How do you feel like when you in the squat?
If I fail, let's see, back squat. My typical method is basically, okay, I can't go up. I go down as low as possible. Just get myself restabilized and just kind of let the bar fall off me while keeping my back straight as possible. So I basically end up just sitting down on my butt while the bar rolls away.
I see. Okay. Oh, so you mean like the literal? I see what you're saying. Like the literal strategy of
Yes.
what to do.
Yeah. You have like a strategy. With me, I think I need one because of the weight that you're putting up there. The safety racks are cool, but it's like I like to have it more in an exit open way. If I can get low enough that it touches it, and I can squeeze under, so I can like duck walk forward to get away from it. So be it. But if it's like open rack, where just let the whole thing go, not throw it away, but it's like get there.
Yeah, and that's my approach. That's what I mean when I say hit the floor. Like I obviously don't do it like uncontrollably, but I try to be very controlled with the fail. So I mean, I had that happen to me one time. I think I was trying to squat like raw squat, like 455, and this is back when my legs wasn't really as strong. And yeah, like I literally didn't put any clamps on it, just in case that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? So then I could just literally just tip one way and then tip the other way, and those barbells is gonna fall off the bar. That's another approach that I use or I have used. But to be honest, man, I'm very, very like cognizant on how I approach a heavier weight. And it's not that I'm afraid to like try a challenging weight. I just like to lower the likelihood that I'm gonna get under a weight and I can't control that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Unless I got somebody to spot me or something. Because like I don't want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that guy that snapped his whole back up because he tried to, do 650 or some shit, knowing damn well, he can't do it, So, I try to be real careful with that because I've seen people fuck themselves up. I think I'm a little shook, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be a man about it. Like I think I'm very shook to try to go too far with that, unless I know I have somebody that can spot me or something, or like be able to help me up out of that hole or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a great question though, Tony, because it is something that people should think about. Like, having some type of strategy in their mind, like, if you do try heavy weight, how are you gonna fail? Like what what approach are you gonna have? Because you could hurt yourself trying to get the weight off you as well. I mean, that could very much so happen as well. So that was definitely a good perspective on that. But yeah, fellas, man, I hope y'all. I know y'all found this very resourceful. Once again, guys, I want to apologize to y'all, man. Definitely had some technical difficulties again, man. Shit happens, man. I'm not perfect. Definitely a work in progress. Our podcast is just gonna get better and better with time. But You know, in a nutshell, guys, yeah, I feel like we touched everything, man. And look, if y'all got any, questions, concerns, comments, or anything, be sure to comment below, comment in the chat. If y'all got any suggestions too, if I got some personal trainers in the building or guys who are very good at lifting and doing all this good stuff, definitely comment in the chat, man, and let us know what y'all think and express your views as well. We got KC in the building. He said, good morning, coach. Merry Christmas. Yo, salute, KC. Salute, brother, man. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas, man. Hope everything was good for you and your peoples, man. And I hope everything was lit for you, man. Salute, bro. But yeah, so like I said, man, if y'all got any questions or anything, man, definitely comment in the chat, man, and let us know. And we'll definitely get back to you and respond to your comments, man. You got any words you want to end us off with, man, or any more views concerning our topic today, Tony?
Just one more muscle group when it comes to legs. Do not neglect your glutes.
Yes.
Your glutes are the triggering point when it comes to squats and deadlifts and a lot of these motions. So for the men out there, don't be shy to actually focus on your glutes. Do some donkey kicks, even those good girl, bad girl, hip adductor machines to get the glutes nice and strong, because having strong glutes means you're going to have a better squat, better leg press, better deadlift. They're the shoulders of the lower body. So there's a lot of power that comes from this. Think about even sprinters where you got up, you all locked up, you ready to go, freaking you kicking off with that glute. To get it going.
Right. It's a real thing, man. Your ass is on fire, man. As soon as you hit that joint. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's funny. It's funny that you point that out, Tony, because I believe it was last year. I kept talking about that. You know what I'm saying? I just kept feeling something in my spirit telling me I need to tell guys like, yo, stop, trying to act all hard and shit. And stop, neglecting your ass because you don't want to look like a, like a softie or something, or like a, like you're trying to grow a big butt or something. It's like, listen, nah, your glute muscles are very important for everything. Your foundation, your support, your explosion power. That's honestly the main muscle group. Athletes, they literally train their glutes simply for that. That is your powerful explosion. It all comes from the feet all the way up through the legs and the glutes. The glutes, that's like the core power space of explosion and raw strength. So
guys, don't underestimate that at all. You got the females out there. They're trying to exaggerate their already voluptuous adipose that's already there. So they got all that adipose right there. That they just try to get that muscle there to point that out. We're men. We just want the functionality and the power of that's coming from the freaking glute itself.
Facts. And that's all we should be thinking about. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking power. Yeah.
Straight up. So yeah, man, look, like I said, man, salute, man. We're going to keep the episodes coming, man. If y'all got any suggestions as well for topics and episodes, don't be shy, man. If you want to, comment below. Let us know, man. Give us some suggestions on specific topics that you guys would want to hear us talk about or go in depth about. We would love to do that for y'all, man, and dig deep on these different topics, man. But y'all know, man, the way I finish every single episode, every man is a king of his own world, right? Every man is a king of his own world. Embrace your masculinity and build your kingdom kings. Salute.
Salute.